Hi, it's Mike DelSignore, Massachusetts OUI lawyer. In today's video, I want to talk about roadblock cases. These are cases where you're stopped at a sobriety checkpoint. Everyone is stopped. Recently, I had a client who had his case dismissed or motion to suppress allowed because the police did not comply with the rules and regulations that they used to set up roadblocks. So roadblocks present many defenses. One, we have a constitutional defense as to the basis of the roadblock was set up properly. There's a lot of different rules and regulations that police need to comply with when you set up a roadblock. They got to prove that the site is a problem for OUI cases, for accidents, so that there's a major problem in that area where they set up the site. You also have, did the officer have reasonable suspicion to direct you from the flow of traffic? They need reasonable suspicion. Did they do the greeting correctly? Was there reasonable suspicion of OUI to even give you an exit order? And was the state police plan followed when they conducted the roadblocks? There's a lot of rules and regulations. The reason is because a roadblock is sort of a unique thing. Normally, under the law, under the Massachusetts Constitution, the United States Constitution, you need reasonable suspicion to believe someone's committed a crime to stop them. With a roadblock, everyone's being stopped without individual justification, individual suspicion. The Massachusetts Supreme Court says that's okay, given the important public safety of getting drunk drivers off the road, if it's done in a very specific manner. So roadblock cases are defensible because there's usually no evidence of unsafe or erratic driving. So if you refuse a breath test, these cases are very strong cases and likely would be a not guilty verdict at trial. If there's no breath test, the case is going to rely almost exclusively on field sobriety tests. Those tests are unreliable. They're inaccurate. There's a lot of reasons why you might not balance perfectly on one leg other than alcohol. So consider fighting the case. If you took a breath test, if we can get the breath test knocked out of evidence, and there's a lot of issues with breath test evidence, you're going to potentially be able to win the case. So consider fighting these cases. There's a lot of legal defenses. It's very difficult to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt, prove you're impaired, and breath test evidence can be fought, challenged, and excluded from evidence. So don't assume that just because you took a breath test, you can't win the case. Fundamental mistake. Roadblock cases are cases I've had great success with over the years. I'd be glad to help you. Call me, text anytime, 781-686-5924. My name's Mike DelSignore, here to help you make the best decisions for yourself when charged with OUI in Massachusetts.